Hey guys, welcome to the Common Sense Football Show and welcome to today's show. Great show in store for you guys today. The main topic of conversation is that Jude Bellingham, according to reports, has chosen his next club. But before we get into that, briefly we're going to recap Premier League games yesterday. Manchester United versus Spurs and Everton versus Newcastle. First things first, we'll go through the Tottenham and Manchester United game. Spurs hosting up at White Hart Lane in the Spurs Stadium. Manchester United blowing a 2-goal lead. Sancho and Rashford on the score sheet. You know, sometimes when those two guys play together, I do see they have chemistry. I'm a massive admirer of Jadon Sancho. I think the stick that he gets, it is warranted in some respects, but players don't choose their price tag, so I'm not a person to slag off a player based on their market value. It's down to performances, it's down to the player. Jadon Sancho didn't ask to cost as much as he did, but I do see a great player in there if he can get, you know, his head right and get his confidence up and, you know, whatever things that's hindering his performance. I do see a good player in there, and I think he has the manager in Ten Hag to get the best out of him. But there seems to be good synergy between him and Rashford, both on the score sheet yesterday. 2-0 at half time. But we all know in football that 2-0 is a very funny scoreline. The next goal often sways the outcome of the game, and Spurs got the next goal in the second half to make it 2-1 and went on to fight back to make it 2-2. Good fight back from Spurs. Showed a bit of determination. I don't think that point will be enough to get them into the top four. Newcastle look nailed on, and Manchester United, you know, a couple more wins, they're in there. You know, Spurs really had to win that game to get into the top four. It's a point closer for Manchester United. You could say that they blew a 2-goal lead, but, you know, they've got injury ravaged. They've got an injury ravaged squad. You know, you got Luke Shaw playing at centre half. You got Dalot, who's a right back, playing at left back. So, and they're probably a little bit leggy. They've been in 4 competitions for most of the season. They've got an FA Cup final coming up. So I'm going to give Manchester United the benefit of the doubt. I still think they're going to get into the top 4 quite comfortably. And, you know, because of that one little fight back, you're hearing noises that Mason should be the next Spurs manager. Absolutely ludicrous, absolutely nonsensical. I don't understand. I don't understand what's wrong with some football fans. Spurs fought back to make it 2-2, and now you want Mason as your next gaffer. Absolutely absurd stupidity. Do you know what? As an Arsenal fan, if you want Mason as your gaffer, please, Daniel Levy, hire him as your next gaffer. That's something that Levy would do to save the pennies. No, come on. Mason is not good enough at this level. Spurs fought back, but mate, they're at home. It doesn't matter who's in charge. No matter who's in charge, they should make a game out of anyone in the league at home. With the money that they've spent and the players that they have, even though most of them are rubbish, they still spent a lot of money the last 2-3 transfer windows. So, you know, no, Mason should not be in charge of Spurs, and if Spurs want to move forward in any way, it should be Nagelsmann at the top of their list. Everton facing Newcastle. Newcastle absolutely superb. Do you know what? I've got so much superlatives to say about this team. What a job Eddie Howe has done. Smart recruitment. Really smart recruitment. Good players with the right mental attitude, with the right attributes for the Premier League, physically and mentally. To me, they look like winners. Newcastle look like, and I know this is going to sound controversial, but I think Newcastle are closer to winning the Premier League than Arsenal. If Arsenal don't do it this year, and there's still a chance, There's still a chance. I think Newcastle will be closer to doing it next season and seasons beyond that. And that's only because I look at some of the players that they have, and I would swap some of those players for Arsenal players. I would. Bruno Gomes, fantastic player. I would take Joe Willock back. In a heartbeat. Yep, I love him. I love his energy. Box-to-box midfielder, pop in with a goal and an assist. Real energy. I think that was a mistake that we let him go. Because in midfield, we ain't got anyone anyway. And Joe Willock's a very good... Mate, he's a top-quality Premier League midfielder. He's proved that since he's moved to Newcastle. I would take Joe Linton and put him somewhere in the attacking line. I would swap him with some of our pretenders that we have in our front three that fans gas up. I would take Joe Linton. And the one thing I like about the Toon is that they don't gas up their players. They don't gas them up. Newcastle are going to get top four. They reached the cup final that they lost down to the gaffer and bad team selection. But the Toon Army don't gas up their players. The players do the talking. And I see a grit and a determination from this Newcastle team. I think Newcastle going to have a bright future. I really do. Saint-Maximin, I would take him. I like his trickery. I like the way he runs at players, commits them. He has real pace. He's really unpredictable in the way he plays. I would take him all day. Yeah, really. And some of those centre-halves as well, proper centre-halves. I would take Trippier at right back. As well. But, there are some players in that Newcastle I would swap for Arsenal players. And then I've got nothing but admiration for this Newcastle team and the job Eddie Howe has done. And Arsenal going to St James's Park will not be an easy tie whatsoever. Just better hope that Newcastle have got their heads on the beach wherever they're going to go on holiday this summer. But no, Newcastle fantastic. Isaac's absolutely fantastic. He had a little bit of an injury issue. They kept him out for a bit of a duration of time, but before the injury and since he's come back, he's been fantastic. Goals, assists. I mean, the assist yesterday, that's Henry-esque. Henry, I know everyone's been saying it, but really, it is Henry-esque. Listen, there's only going to be one Thierry Henry. But the way he did it, the movements, Henry-esque. But Isaac is a different player to Henry. I believe that Isaac is more of an out-and-out striker than Henry was. Henry drifted in from the left-hand side and cutting in on his right foot most of the time. And he could play anywhere, Henry, across the front line. But Isaac, fantastic player. Very, very good signing. Newcastle's marquee signing so far. And to be honest with you, I don't know how much did he cost, about 70 mil. He looks cheap. He's young. And they're going to get years out of him, and they're going to get a lot of goals out of him as well. Top class striker there. Newcastle beating Everton 4-1. So, like I've said, the main topic of conversation is Jude Bellingham deciding his next football club. According to reports in Spain, he has chosen to join Real Madrid for a price tag of 150 million. Wow. Now you look at Real Madrid, they're packed in midfield. Modric, Toni Kroos, these two ain't going to go on forever. They're reaching the twilight years, even though they're still superb players. They've got Valverde, who's a young player. They've got Chukwuemeka, and they've also got Camavinga. I always thought that with Chukwuemeka, Camavinga and Valverde, it looked that, their midfield looked pretty strong. But Real Madrid are Real Madrid, and they're very ambitious, and they always want to be fighting for the Champions League and La Liga. So it looks like they're going to strike while the iron's hot and get Jude Bellingham. And when Kroos and Modric do move on or retire or whatever, that quartet in midfield, any combination of the three or all four of them if necessary, would be absolutely frightening. Now, in terms of Jude Bellingham, I think that his preferred destination would have been Liverpool. The romance, being a captain, getting Gerrard's shirt and all that. But Liverpool pulled out. They obviously couldn't afford him, and obviously want to spend their money on more strategic buys, like maybe getting a Mason Mount or maybe a Barella, who might be a bit cheaper than Jude Bellingham. But Real Madrid are striking. Now, there were reports that Manchester City would have got him. I'm glad that he's not going to Manchester City. I'm glad he's not going to a Chelsea. If he went to Manchester City, that would have just made it just crazy. That would have made their already incredible squad crazy, and just even widen them for the rest of the Premier League. Manchester United were rumoured to be interested. Whether or not Manchester United have those funds, they want to spend big on a striker, a Harry Kane or a Victor Osimhen. Can they spend big again on a Jude Bellingham? I don't know, and no one knows who's going to own Manchester United come the summer, come the start of next season. So it looks like Real Madrid are the club is the club he wants to go to, and they are willing to pay the money. Now, listen, it's not a big deal. He's still young. By the time, even if it's a 5-year contract, by the time he's 26, 27, he'll be in his prime anyway, and he can still make a move to the Premier League if he wants to. But that's a long way off. So Jude Bellingham to Madrid looks like that's the most feasible destination for him if Liverpool don't come back in, or if he doesn't decide to spend another season in Dortmund. For Dortmund, it's good. They're getting a massive amount of money for one of the best young players in the world, one of the best midfielders on the planet. How will he fit in at Real Madrid? They have so much quality already. Camavinga, Chukwuemeka, Valverde. Chukwuemeka showed his qualities in the World Cup this past winter, especially against England with that great long distance goal. He is a box-to-box midfielder, but he's more of a six. Chukwuemeka, he loves to defend, he loves to protect the back four. Camavinga is a box-to-box midfielder, so much energy, so much quality, and Valverde is a proper 8, but then again, he can get back as well and help defensively. Jude Bellingham as well is a box-to-box midfielder with a great eye for a pass, and he has so much quality as well. Those four in midfield, you would think that Real Madrid, they'll be sorted for a number of years in that position. And Modric and Toni Kroos and Casemiro, the transition from those three will be smooth. So I'll be keeping my eyes on that, on the news, and seeing if any of it does progress over the next coming days. But that's exciting news, and I do think that it's the right decision by Jude. I think it's ambitious. Going to Germany, doing so well there, fighting for a Bundesliga title, now choosing to go Spain. Very ambitious, and not enough English players do go abroad. It's happening more now, but very, very ambitious from Jude, and we may still see him in the Premier League in the future. So let's keep our eyes on that, and I will keep my eyes and ears on that and see how that progresses. To Chelsea briefly. Apparently, they are nearing the closing negotiations for the Pochettino deal, for Pochettino to be in situ next season. According to reports, he should be in charge by next week, if not the weekend. So I'll be keeping my eyes and ears on that as well, as I'm sure that you guys will. So guys, Premier League. Hope Arsenal can bounce back. Hope Manchester City can slip up to give us any chance. If Manchester City were to miraculously lose and Arsenal were to win, that would sort of, open up the Premier League again. So it'll be interesting. Right now, people pretty much think that City are going to win the title. So if Manchester City were to lose and Arsenal were to win, it would add a little bit more excitement back to this Premier League title race. But it's far from over, so I'll be tuning in and I will be reporting on this weekend's games. Alright guys, hope you guys enjoyed the show. Please smash the like, share, subscribe, leave a comment. I love the comments, I love replying to the comments, I love having conversations and debate with you guys, and I'll see you guys for the next one. Peace.